If you want more FIFA content from me, I'm now uploading exclusive videos to Patreon. The link for that is down below. And if you want to avoid the random lottery that is FIFA points, you can go straight to the source with u7buy.com. And of course, you can use the code TVM at checkout to get yourself a discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video. Yes, it is the man himself, Jesse Lingard. Now, you may want to click off, and that is up to you. Well, I mean, what else are you going to do? Let's be honest. You're just going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs till 6 o'clock. And anyway, I digress. Let's dive into this, shall we? Because I don't know what I've called it. Probably something to do with a meme. However, I wanted to take a look at Jesse Lingard because his base stats aren't actually that bad, and with the chem style in particular, they do go much better than what you'd maybe expect, and you're going to get a really sort of, not meta, but he's going to fit the game quite well. You know, he's going to have that high dribbling, he's going to feel quite nippy on the ball, his passing is going to be crisp with the artist chem style. Without it, it's a little bit hit or miss. But the one thing that annoys me about these Team of the Week moments cards, by the way, is the fact that they followed the FIFA 20 upgrade path, and I've mentioned it before, but I'll just reiterate my point for those who missed those videos. I feel like the upgrade path should follow the FIFA that it's coming from. So in this instance, it was FIFA 18. He had an 84 rated inform. I believe he should now have an 86, and it should follow that path, because who knows if and when we're going to get football back this season. We may have to wait until the new iteration of FIFA, which means there's been an awful lot of football and upgrade opportunities missed. Therefore, have a bit of fun with it. You know, go and follow the upgrade path of the previous FIFA, unless, of course, the FIFA 20 card trumps that of the previous FIFA, and then in which case follow the FIFA 20 upgrade. But it would have been much better to get an 86 Lingard than an 84. That being said, though, there is still something to work with here. Unfortunately, he has a 3-star weak foot, which is definitely part of the meta this year, having a higher weak foot. He's got a high work rate, so potentially for a box-to-box midfielder, but not really good defensively. So I don't know how that would really work if you tried to use him as that type of player. I mean, with a powerhouse chem style, just randomly here, he is only a 86 rated CM or a 79 rated CDM. So I would probably stick with the artist, which turns him into a 90-ish rated player. Really good agility in there, 98 agility, 91 balance. It's not too far off where I'd expect the 86 to be, were he to get one. I don't think he will now. I think EA have missed the boat. But if he had been given an 86 from the FIFA 18 upgrade path, it would have been obviously a much better card, but this wouldn't have been too dissimilar to what you could have expected. 96 ball control, you've got 93 dribbling on there as well. Actually turns him into a really good cam, 90 rated cam overall, which is, you know, I mean, if you think about it, if you think about this in like the context of cards coming out, and you're looking at them and you're going, oh wow, that's a 90 rated card, that's going to be a really good card. But obviously because he's 84 and 90 with a chem style, people will dismiss it, and that's kind of the point of the video. That's the team I've got him in there. Now there is a player review to come from another player review to come from this squad. So let me know in the comments who you think that player may or may not be. You could probably work it out from the players that I've reviewed so far. Take those away, and then you've got who you've got left. But let me know in the comments who you think that player is. Now, with that being said, let's dive into the gameplay. We can have a look at what he's good at, what he's bad at. He did score and get a sort of goal contributions in his fair share. I actually tried to play the ball back toward Lingard there, but obviously James himself was in the middle. But no, I didn't try and force the play through Lingard. It was just a case of, if I can see him arriving, like there for instance, I'll play the ball across. We've got a rage quit on that occasion, but I'll play the ball across and let him get that goal. So it wasn't like he was going out of his way and scoring bangers necessarily. He did score a couple of decent goals, but in general, he was involved a lot. You know, like as a cam, I tend to do this with Hadji a fair bit as well. They arrive late into the penalty area. You have them on the edge, and they're able to sort of drive forward and beat the last defender and get a shot off. His finishing in particular isn't actually that good, so take it with a pinch of salt really when he scores a goal like that, because unfortunately it's not consistent enough for me. Obviously he's got 78 finishing. If you want to boost that, you feel free to do so with a chem style. Good finish there from James himself again. But if you want to boost the finishing and you want to try and get him sort of better in front of goal, then I understand why you'd want to do that, and obviously there are several chem styles. What a turn that is from Trossard, by the way. There are several chem styles out there you could use Sniper, I mean, you do get a massive boost in that dribbling ability with the sniper, and of course you get 93 finishing, good positioning, but to be honest, you're probably better off going with a Deadeye and leaving the dribbling alone. So you get 94 short passing it, 95 vision, but you get a massive boost in shot power, which we'll talk about in a second, but you also get a really big boost in that finishing and positioning. A Deadeye could be a really good chem style for him, even though in a cam position he actually goes down to an 89 rather than a 90 with the artist. But that just depends on how good you need him to be in front of goal, how many opportunities you get in. You know, in hindsight, I feel like maybe a Deadeye would have been a better chem style for me, because I don't feel like the benefit really came through with the ball control and the dribbling. He's very good on the ball in general, despite the stats being relatively low. There he is, of course, dancing through people. Probably should have scored there, to be fair, but again, just using that weak foot, and with a 3-star weak foot, you kind of would expect him to not score his fair share. Here comes James, though, looking menacing. Great ball through to Jesse Lingard. And one-on-one with the goalkeeper there, gets taken out. It's a shame that goalkeepers can't get red-carded. It really is, because that is a red card. That's not a very good free kick. I apologise, but I'm still learning, you know. But that wasn't, you know, it's annoying that sidetracked here. But the whole goalkeeper thing, I feel like that's a red card offence. He should be red carded. But what should happen is you should be forced, like you are forced to pick a manager, you should be forced to put a goalkeeper on the bench, and therefore you can still have an actual goalkeeper in net, but you are down to 10 men, which in my opinion is fair, because he did bring his goalkeeper out. You've got to expect that. Now, that being said, I am going to review him, as you can see in the top right, and for those who aren't familiar, I will very quickly go over it. I am going to review him in a Class 3. So a Class 3 is a card that you can still have enjoyment out of, and you can still play with and sort of score goals and get assists and things, but not a card you want anywhere near your FUT Champ squad unless you are a god at this game or you're just up for a challenge. But in general, I think it's a card that you can sort of take onto the pitch and have a knockabout with, maybe get a goal or two, but obviously not play in any sort of competitive sense. That's what a Class 3 is. Now, in that sense, I'm going to give him an 82. So it's a solid review. It is a solid performance. He's a solid card, but not in a competitive sense. I just want to point that out. A lot of people get confused. What, you're giving him an 82, but you only give Ronaldo a 90? Yeah, but they're like 3 classes apart. You know what I mean? You can't review every card and say, oh, he's a banger. But if you'd sort of categorize them as competitive, non-competitive, fun, so on and so forth, kind of makes a little bit more sense. In terms of his cons, his shot power really did let him down on many an occasion. I feel like the 78 finishing isn't great, but when you have terrible shot power, or not terrible, but low shot power, so in this instance 83, unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to get enough purchase on the ball. You know, he'll take a shot and then it'll sort of just get scuffed into the ground. It isn't really that great an effort. And I feel like with 90 shot power, 95 shot power, but he still has the 78 finishing, he'd be much more clinical in front of goal. And I think that that's not just Lingard, that's everybody. If you've got low finishing but you have high shot power, if you can hit the target, more likely than not you will score. Even though you have sort of poor, or he has poor finishing. But with that being said, there are other negatives. The weak foot is a real pain in the backside, especially if you use him as a cam. I wouldn't particularly want to use him as a CM as he comes out of packs, because he doesn't have any sort of decent defensive ability, unfortunately. So it's a case of having to force him into the cam spot, which is what he plays in real life, incidentally. But still, with the high defensive work rate and the weak foot being as bad as it is, it's not ideal. I'm not a massive fan of that at all. It's a shame, really, that they don't just throw caution to the wind in this situation. And I say that, it's a shame that they don't do it in general, really. You know, when a player gets an inform but he's got an assist with his weaker foot or scored a goal with his weaker foot, why they don't just, I don't know, upgrade the weak foot just for that card is beyond me. They don't have to upgrade the card or the player across the board and give him a 4-star weak foot for his base card and any future informs, but you know, just have a little fun with it. Give him 4-star, and give it more of a reason for us to pick this card up. You know, that makes sense. In general, though, I did really enjoy myself to a degree. I think, you know, for what it is, you'd pick that card up and you wouldn't expect an awful lot from it. Maybe you'd pick it up and try and do the Premier League icon swaps objective, and then beyond that, you just get rid of it. But to be fair, he's one of those cards I wouldn't mind just popping in the team every now and again, having a few games with, because he's not a bad card at all. And that's what I really like about doing player reviews on these type of players. I go in there with absolutely no expectation whatsoever. I don't expect him to be good, and you come out with a relatively content performance. It's one of those cards that, especially if you're a Man United fan, you'll be more than happy to play with. Let me know what you think of his card in the comments, and whether you have another card like this where you went in with zero expectation, but you came out thinking, you know what, he's not actually that bad. If you have enjoyed the video though, do me a favour and hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.